Hello fellow cinephiles, 90s Film Guru here. Thanks for joining me today. For those new to the channel, my name's Sean, also known as Film Guru, and I started this channel over my saying particular movies and a variety of other film content regarding the 90s. So welcome. Today I'm reviewing Deep Rising. The film came out in 1998 and was directed by Stephen Sommers and starred a variety of known and also up and coming actors such as Treat Williams, Famke Janssen, and a variety of others. This is probably one of my favourite sort of creature features to come out of the 90s. I remember first seeing this on VHS, yes, that long ago, and I really enjoyed it. There's something really interesting and creative about this film. I think it's a precursor to The Mummy that Stephen Sommers would do a year later, and it was looking with the practical effects and digital effects and how that looked, and there's certain things that he would use in The Mummy, in the particular characters, the journeys that the characters go on, as well as the thing that they come up against, this creature, this darkness, this whatever you want to call it, and have to band together to overcome it, and only a handful survive. It was considered a failure when it first came out, but has since become sort of one of those great cult classic films. And as I keep saying with these reviews, the more and more I look at the 90s, the more and more I see these films, a lot of the films failed in that particular decade. And not only failed, but ultimately become cult classics, and there's a whole heap of them. It's kind of interesting to me in a lot of ways that the fact that these films didn't do well on their initial release, but now regarded as sort of modern classics in a way, and I think that's really interesting. I think there's been a decade like the 90s where there was so many films that failed, but become sort of very popular on their release onto VHS or DVD or whatever you want to say. Sommers started writing this script when he was working at Hollywood Pictures in the mid-90s, and eventually he got picked up once he finished it. The film started filming in 1996 but was delayed 2 years and didn't come out till 1998 due to I don't think they really knew how to market it or what to do with the film in a lot of regards, and it took them a little while to work out how to get the film out, I suppose. A lot of the critics kind of didn't like it, but once again, Roger Ebert, a real pioneer, a real champion for sort of obscure films, really gave it a kind of positive review in a way. He called it an alien clone with a paint job, and that's kind of what the film is in a way. It feels like Alien, this group of people, they're trapped on a boat in this film where it's a spaceship in Alien, trapped with this particular thing that they have to overcome and go up against, this creature that's trying to kill them. He also said that at times is far more entertaining than any other like it. And it is, it's an entertaining wild ride. It's fun, it's entertaining. It sort of has this sort of unique group of characters that most of the mains are really developed enough that you know and care about them. There was a couple of theories, whether it was meant to be a standalone film or if it was sort of a pilot to a TV show that never really took off. It kind of feels like both of those, but obviously with Treat Williams and passing away recently, and sort of Stephen Sommers not really directing a lot of big films anymore, to ever get a sequel to this is unlikely. Like I said, Stephen Sommers would make Mummy a year later, and he would even use one of the same actors that he's got in this film. But this actor he would use constantly throughout his films, in Van Helsing and a variety of other films he made, as kind of this really interesting and unique character actor, Kevin J. O'Connor, who plays Joey in the film and plays Benny in The Mummy. It's like his good luck charm in a way, I guess. Like how Christopher Nolan always puts Michael Caine in his films some way. And the end of this film kind of feels like The Mummy as well. I know I keep saying that, but it just really is. It's just sort of was an experiment to see what he could do, and then later would use the effects and things he learned on this film to make another film that is even better and did really well at the box office. One negative, I guess, about the film is the visual effects are very dated. The creature itself doesn't look great, and the ending, when you see the sort of hunting ground of this creature, it doesn't look great either, but it's just everything else about it. The characters make up for it. When we get right to the end, these characters, the survivors, end up on an island, and then they come up against something else. There's this roaring thing in this forest on the island, and I kind of really loved that. He's like, now what, type of thing. Like, I think that's really cool. A lot of really great actors in it. The late great Treat Williams, I think, is really good as John Finnegan. He's a captain of a small vessel, and the vessel he owns is hired by this group searching for something, and he's taken them on the journey with his crew, and they ultimately unwittingly become the prey of the creature. Now, before Treat Williams came on board to this film and took on the role as John Finnegan, it was given to Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford, and he turned it down. I don't know if this would have been really a film for Harrison Ford. Yes, John Finnegan has that sort of humour and dry wit and is sort of an action star and everyman, and Harrison Ford can portray that at times. But I just don't see it. I just think Treat Williams was the perfect casting for this role. My favourite character by far is the character that Famke Janssen plays in the film, Trillian St. John. Really bizarre name. But she's this kind of character that she does everything she can to survive. She robs people, she takes money, and when she's caught up in this sort of scenario that she can't comprehend, it's about what she does throughout the film that really makes her a really fascinating character. You can tell Summers really liked this character a lot, just by the traits he gives that character and by who she is as a person within the story and the purpose she serves in the movie. The things that she kind of does to survive is she finds food when she really needs to in the environment. She finds clothing, and you see all these things in the background where John Finnegan and the other characters trying to work out what to do. She's just trying to see what her next step is, what she needs in that particular moment, and goes after it. She's always looking for a way out and a way to survive. That's why she's so interesting and fascinating. There's a lot of layers and depth to her. Not the heap of depth, but enough to really gauge and get a connection to this character and find her really fun. There's an fun fact: before Famke Janssen was offered the role or took the role, it was given to Claire Filoni, I think her name is, from Mallrats and Joe Black and a variety of other films. And why she's a solid actress and interesting, I just don't think she would have brought as much as Famke Janssen brought to the role, and I'm just sort of glad that Famke took the role. The best way to describe this film is it's pure fun and entertainment. Do the visual effects hold up? No, they don't. But it is a fun and wild ride and definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. It has a kind of adventure feel, like you would see in Indiana Jones or any sort of movie like that where characters go on a journey. And I really love that. I love that aspect to the movie. It's a wild adventure action film that you can just put on and enjoy. And you can forgive the bad looking creature because of the fact of how fun the movie truly is. To me, in someone else's hands besides Stephen Sommers, this could have been a real mess. But because Sommers wrote it and directed it, he knew what he wanted to say and the type of film he wanted to make, and he really understood this particular genre, that kind of adventure horror, I guess, or action horror, which is an interesting combination, but he really got what he was going for, and he had fun with it, and that comes through in the film itself. As me as an audience member, I really thoroughly enjoyed what he did with the movie and was really impressed by his choices and decisions and the way he crafted the film. I think a lot of monster creature features, or whatever you want to call them these days, have kind of forgot how to have fun. Like the early Godzilla movies, especially the recent ones that have come out, just forget how to have fun. It's always so serious and dire and stressful and sad in a way. It wasn't until movies like Godzilla v Kong that the films kind of started to have fun with themselves, and that's a great example of that. And that's where this sort of movie fits in that it isn't probably as good as that movie, but it fits into the fun and adventure side of these creature films. In the end, this is one hell of a film. I love it. I've always loved it. To me, it's this and Relic going hand in hand because I just feel that they're both a really interesting take on the creature films. And I really like the design of both of them, even if the one here doesn't look as good. It has good characterization, interesting dialogue and very fun moments, and a lot of action-y aspects to it that make it so endearing and engaging and fun to watch. It has a lot of quest elements, which is always fun in these sort of movies. But I think if you had poorly written characters or clunky dialogue or characters that weren't really interesting, I think this film would have suffered just because the visual effects are so bad. But by having that, you can forgive a lot in the movie because of that aspect to the film. I do really wish we had more films to this, like some more sequels. I would have loved to seen what it was they go up against on the island. And really, these characters in this film are really survivors. They go from place to place, thing to thing, and it's about them outwitting whatever they're up against in order to survive what's going on. If they ever did make sequels, I would be in the cinema in a flash. So to me, I think this film's great and fun and worth the title of cult classic. I'd give Deep Rising 3.5 out of 5 as a really fun, entertaining, enjoyable film that really harks back to something really great about the adventure and quest films that we used to get, especially in the 90s, that we don't get so much anymore. And I relish in the fact that we have something and movies like this that came out of this period of time. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe down the bottom, follow my letterbox on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.